so long it's like alchemy.
Man, I remember listening to an interview with Stack Jack, Steven Jackson, and they were asking him, man, who is the most talented player you've ever played with? He didn't say Tim Duncan. He didn't say Baron Davis. He said J.R. Smith. Now, we all know talent can be a dirty word in the sports world because there's a lot more that goes into the equation when you're making a great player. We've seen J.R. make jaw-dropping plays followed by something you'd probably see like in a 7th grade CYO game. He's up and down. His talent is so great, teams have just learned to live with the enigma that is one J.R. Smith. Now, his athleticism is probably not what it once was, but don't get it twisted, man. He can still finish at the rim with the best of them. He can go off 2 feet, 1 foot, a lot of dexterity. And that same athleticism allows him to be one of probably the best bad shot makers I've ever seen. He could be not even facing the basket, but the elevation he gets on his jump shot allows him to turn and point his hips, and then that high rainbow arc, he hits shots that are damn near impossible. Now, early on in his career, he was just way too crazy with it, man, and he did it too often. But, maturing and playing with LeBron on a contender, they've reined him in, and he does it way more sparingly, particularly just at the end of clock in a bailout situation. But the catch-22 with that is he doesn't get to dribble and find a rhythm like he once did on Denver and even New York. And so he's very hot and cold with his catch-and-shoot role behind the arc. Now, defensively, J.R. has all the physical ability to be the defender Klay is. He's more athletic. But the difference is discipline. J.R., man, he just gambles too much. He tries to anticipate what's going to unfold, and what that does is it leaves him open for backdoor cuts, flare screens, and he gets caught guessing and then leaves his team out to dry. But ultimately, man, I think the Cavs, they know they'll need his firepower to have any shot in this series, so I expect him to play the bulk of minutes over Iman Shumpert, the defender. That said, look for Klay to use JR's athleticism against him. A lot of pump fakes, backdoor cuts, and flares to the corner is going to keep JR over-anticipating. Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips, just a bunch of gibberish, and motherfuckers act like they forgot about Klay. Nah, I'm just messing with y'all, man, but I sure didn't. Now, obviously, he's been struggling worse than a fat girl trying to squeeze into some skinnies, hitting that shot. But the one positive I can say about Klay in these playoffs is he hasn't let his offense affect his defense. He did a really good job on Patty Mills, and then after that Game 1 explosion from CJ McCollum, he put the clamps on him in that series. Now Klay, he's got great size and strength, and he moves his feet very well for a wing player his size. But to me, his greatest attribute comes from between the ears. In today's pick-and-roll centric NBA, wing defenders get worn out quicker than ever fighting through screens. But the fatigue is not just physical, man. There's a mental fatigue that takes place as well. Should I go under? Should I go over? Do I need to switch? And no doubt, man, this affects Klay just like everyone else. But he rarely shows it. He relentlessly fights through, almost like a cyborg, man, never showing the opponent that he's downing himself or that he could be broken. And that same mentality is why I have no doubt he's going to break out of the shooting slump during this trilogy. Enter the law of averages, the principle that supposes most future events are likely to balance any past deviation from a presumed average. In other words, at some point in this series, Klay is going to explode on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I'm not saying he's going to average some crazy numbers for the series and put up all these numbers, but there will be a moment where the Cavs start shaking their heads, shrugging their shoulders, and in the blink of an eye, a game is over. Warriors in 6, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.